Good afternoon everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. Out in the back of the bush because the kids are doing stuff and I have been a bit slack with doing videos. So I thought I would do a bit of a twofer for today's video. So I got the monthly hamper. So every 4 weeks we have access, or once a month we have access to a food hamper through A4 Community Care and Aberdeen Pantry. Peter and Lois organise it for us out here, and what happens is that they truck out the hampers to a shed on their place, and then each time the hamper runs, so it's about every 4 weeks or monthly, we get the opportunity to go and collect the hamper from them, and we pay $50 for the hamper. The hamper kits is whatever's in it is what you get. So some months it has heaps, some months it's a little bit less. It's always well and truly worth far more than the $50 that you pay for it. They also have produce bins, so you can do a gold coin donation, which, because I'm in Australia, our gold coins are $2 and $1 coins, so some dollars worth of donation. I always just chuck an extra $10, $5 or $10 in with my payments each month. And they have produce bins that you can access and collect stuff for that month as well. So this month there was, I think it was apples and cucumbers and maybe a watermelon, and I think they had capsicums, but we don't use capsicums, so I didn't grab those. Something else, I think. But Darryl goes and collects it. I am an introvert, as most people know. I don't really enjoy leaving the house too much. I do my 6 weekly shopping, but that's about it. I was actually having a really bad pain day yesterday too, so it was definitely not a day for me to be leaving the house, which is why there was no video yesterday either. So we picked up the hamper yesterday, but I just haven't got around to doing all this intro. So the hampers, they're $50 once a month. Peter and Lois organise it. It's through A4 Community Care in Brisbane. But they also run Aberdeen Pantry, which has some discounted goods for people to be able to access as well. There is, every time I do one of these, I try and outline some of the companies that do this sort of thing, because there is a lot of them. So we're west of Toowoomba, and I know that in Toowoomba there is a Loaves and Fishes and a Food Assist. In Brisbane, I know there's a Loaves and Fishes, there's the A4 Community Care, and there's a Lighthouse Care. And I look up other states at times when people ask me if I know of anything there. So I do have a list of a few bits and pieces. But generally speaking, there is something somewhere in every state that is accessible for this. We are extremely lucky that Peter and Lois chose to organise it so that we can collect it locally. When I used to go shopping in Toowoomba, so when we first moved out here, I used to shop in Toowoomba sort of fortnightly, and I would quite often grab one of the Loaves and Fishes hampers, and they're very similar to what we get through A4 Community Care. I think they've gone up to $60 now, the ones in Toowoomba. And again, it's you got what you got, and so I found it hard sometimes because I was shopping fortnightly. I'd get what I got, and I wouldn't necessarily find use for all of the items within the fortnight, and then we'd be shopping again fortnightly because that was the process that we did. I actually find the way we get it now much more useful for me now that I've learned more about the preserving of things and the longevity of keeping things and things like that. Getting it every 4 weeks in amongst our 6 week shopping trips, really, it just works really well. And there's always some treats in there that the kids really enjoy that I don't normally buy. I have nothing against as such, it's just not something that I buy. We do have limited storage, so that makes it hard sometimes for like prepackaged type snacks and stuff. Partly why I don't buy them and why I make them, because I can store the single ingredients that are required to make them a whole lot easier than I can store like packages of things. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the hamper that I got now, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a bit more of a chat for like my Sunday chat update type thing. So anybody who isn't interested in watching the rest of that, they just want to check out the hamper, they can check it out. And then when I come back, I will continue on with what's been going on in the last week or so, or 2 weeks. I don't know how long it's been since I've done a chat video. It's been a little while. And you'll have to excuse all the roosters because I decided to come out past the chicken pens, which means that they're all just there. So here's this month's A4 Community Care Aberdeen Pantry haul, and I'll see you when you come back. Alrighty, so this is July's hamper from A4 Community Care and Aberdeen Pantry. So we got 4 loaves of bread, and and a packet of the Tip Top Burger Thins bread. There's a couple of packets of toasted muesli, some of the 2-minute noodles, a chicken stock. This is the same as we've got the last few months, so it works quite nice. It has English on the side. It is chicken stock. Some Ziploc bags, a couple of kilos of white rice. We got an almond milk and some churros cereal and some Cruskets with sweet potato. Roll of toilet paper, a watermelon. We got a bunch of the little single serve tartare sauces. So a couple of packets of the puffs. The kids enjoy eating these, the little baby food puff things. Some rice crackers. There is a bunch of individually packaged the little catering 2-biscuit packs, and some of these Uncle Toby's oat balls, peanut butter, strawberry and oat with filled centres. I think the kids will really enjoy those as well. Some muesli bars, a packet of sour lollies, packet of dried pasta. There is some corn cobbettes, and then there's a bunch of beans. So this is one of the bags of beans, but there's quite a few more bags of those in a bag up here. I haven't counted them. There is a tin of tuna, some peach iced tea, a butter chicken tonight, tin of spaghetti, and a jar of peanut butter. There is a lemonade, a water, and a Pepsi. Got a bunch of these pure creams. I was saying to Darryl that I'll have to make myself some mac and cheese using some of these, but they freeze quite well, so they can just go straight in the freezer like that as well. Some sliced ham, some cocktail franks for hot dog sausages, and a packet of diced chicken breast. There is a few of the pre-made meals, a couple of chicken parma veg, and a whole bunch of spiced apple and chocolate biscuit crumb. There's another big tin of the baby corn. I haven't actually used the one from last month yet. I do have to figure out a way that we're going to use that. And a big bag of frozen, I think it's chicken breasts. It says original fillet and it looks like chicken to me, so we'll have to defrost that and have a good look. There's some mandarins and some tomatoes, and then the produce with the gold coin donation for this month was the apples, cabbages, beans as well. So some of the beans were donation, cabbages, and there is cucumbers there as well. So that was there's a couple of cabbages there. They did have capsicums as well, but we don't generally eat much in the way of capsicums, so it's a bit pointless to take them when we're not going to eat them. Someone else who will eat them can have them instead. Alright, so some good stuff there, lots of produce and stuff too. I'm going to have to work through some apples and stuff because we've still got some apples left from the shopping haul as well. I've just changed position slightly, hopefully it's okay. I find holding these little, because I use my phone for these Sunday chats, and I can't find the longer tripod-y thing. I've only got a short one, and it really, my shoulders and hands don't like holding it up in front of me, so I've got a tree in front of me that I'm using to assist me. So what else has been going on? So we know that I've been talking about how the secondary fridge of ours, the fridge that we use mostly for produce, has been playing up. We got it completely emptied, cleaned, it defrosted because it isn't frost free, and everything else, cleaned the thermostats and all the rest of it, and we got it working again. It's not holding particularly good temperature, like sort of 6 to 8 rather than down at the 2 to 4, but it's satisfactory for produce, which is fine. It's actually kept the carrots and everything have kept better longer because it's that slightly higher temperature, less humidity in there and stuff. But our primary fridge, which is actually a really expensive one, we have a Westinghouse pigeon pair that we bought before when we moved out here because they're a higher grade fridge freezer, so a better energy efficiency. So it's a fairly expensive one, and it's not chilling anymore. I don't know what's going on. It is sitting at 10 to 12, which is no good. Things are going moldy. So we're in the process of trying to clear all that out, put as much as we can into the other fridge that is not holding real great, that's not meat. So the problem is that we can't really store leftovers or meat or anything like that. Everything has to go in the freezers, which means that I've had to do a lot more with some of the meat to go into the freezer than I normally would. Like I wouldn't normally put all of it in the freezer, and I've had to, which means that my freezers are chock-a-block too. So it's all a little bit frustrating. But anyway, we're trying to get it empty. Once we get it empty, we'll leave it turned off for a couple of days and it is a frost-free fridge though, so it shouldn't really need anything like that. But anyway, we'll leave it turned off for a couple of days and we'll just see what happens and if it turns back on and sorts itself out. The problem I have is that I was actually really lucky. Lois from A4 Community Care had a secondhand fridge that they offered us last month that we could have purchased, except that the fridge started working well enough again that we didn't need it. But it's actually a fridge on top, fridge freezer dual thing, and the problem is that what we need is a whole single fridge. It's not enough room for us if we don't have a whole fridge. But the problem is that buying secondhand, you have the issues with worrying about the power usage. You just don't know what it's going to be like. We might have to bite the bullet and do it anyway. Just find a nice big single fridge, like a single pigeon pair in Toowoomba or something. But I hesitate to spend too much money too, because we just bought that trailer. So we've got the trailer that we're intending to set up into a cold room, which will solve a lot of our problems. But because by the end of the 6 weeks, our fridge is pretty empty. So if we've only got one small one for all that, all your condiments and your open jars and stuff, and then we have the cold room for all the stuff that we bring home from the groceries, and that will be fine. But it's probably going to cost me a couple of grand to get this trailer finished, and there's just so many projects at the moment that are calling for money. Like, we do okay between YouTube and the little bit of a buffer that we get from the government and some typing work and Darryl doing a little bit of converting and stuff. We do okay, but it's the big projects that end up causing problems. Like anyone, having enough money to do the projects is the issue. And at the moment I've been slowly buying garden beds because we really want a better garden season. I've got a guy organised to buy some IBCs from. He'll deliver them for me at a really good price, and then there's a lady who delivers mushroom compost, so I was going to get some mushroom compost in bulk as well, and then probably just some topsoil to mix with everything else to add to the wood chips and everything else we've got. But anyway, those things are all a significant cost each. Like, that's not, each one on its own is okay, but when you add them anyway. So the trailer really needs to be done, but I just don't know how quickly I'm going to get it done, so I might need to buy a secondhand fridge anyway. Rambling. We're also using the trailer at the moment to clean up, so I can't get any soil or anything delivered because the front turnaround of our place has a lot of rubbish and resources in it, like a lot of things that just need to be taken to a tip. So we have community skip bins that we can take our general household rubbish to, but they're not for anything significant. So we need to do a trip to the tip, which is quite a significant distance away, and get rid of a whole bunch of actual rubbish. So Darryl's been filling the trailer up, but we're going to have to cover it in wire or something so that nothing falls out anyway, and to go to the tip to do a full load there. And then once we can do that, we can sort out some of the resources that we've got, like the piles of timber and roofing iron and all that sort of things that we've collected, and we'll put that down the side of the house out of the way rather than in the turnaround at the front, and then we can get soil and the IBCs and everything delivered into that turnaround and then redistribute it as needed. So I feel like I tried to get started early to get spring sorted before and everything else, and I know we're still in the middle of winter, but it's creeping up fast. So anyway, I just thought I'd update you on that. What else did I want to say? Still working on all the art for the mugs and things like that. As much as I've done a few of them and I've passed a few on to a few different people, there's just some work there required. I have been working really hard on the website. The back end is looking so much better. I'm nearly there. I've actually, this downtime that I haven't been doing much, I've been doing that. So that will be happening soon, which is great. I wanted to show you, Darryl and I did a bit of a project the other day. I'm going to take photos of it when I come inside, so I'm just going to talk about it now and then I'll show you the photos. We bought those, the gorilla carts. Anyone in Australia, and especially homesteads and that, probably know the gorilla carts. We bought one from Bunnings, quite an expensive one. I'm going to say it was over $200, and it's got a wire. It's all steel and the sides come off and on, so you can use it as a flatbed or a trailer trolley thing. We use it for firewood, we use it for animal feeds from the car to the pens, all sorts of things. The bottom of it was wire welded to the metal frame, but the problem is that if you put anything significantly different weight in certain parts of it, then the wire would pop off the welding, and then the wire was tilting such a way that it was impacting the movement of the wheels. So what we did was we pulled all the wire off, and Darryl and I brainstormed and built a flat bed for the bottom of the trailer out of some old decking timber. It's one of our piles of secondhand goods that we have. and put a little braces in the bottom so that when the sides aren't on, it'll still sort of sit in place. So he's pretty happy with that. It took us a while to figure out how we wanted to do it and everything, and we got it put together. So that has made that cart 100 times more useful. So I highly suggest anyone who has one of those wire ones, if they're having problems with the wire, then just, grab some timber and create that base for them. So I'm going to show you that. We built an awning for the back door. We're still having problems with the roof leaking. Mentioned that a few times. The roof leaks over near our bed in that back corner of the house, and part of it's because the buildings that we're living in were supposed to be joined together. So one end of it is not, it's flashed, but it's not very well finished because it actually used to butt up to another part of the building. So we put gutter on it and stuff, but I'd say that it's just the gutter tends to flow back into the roof line, and anyway it leaks. Part of it is leaking through a door that is not an external door because it used to be butted up to another building. That's part of the problem. So we've put a screen on there and everything so that in summer the door stays open. When it rains we close the door obviously, but it's been leaking in through the top of the door and down the wall and into the floor, and it's where I'm setting up all my new sewing space and everything like that. So we wanted to try and fix that, so we built an awning to go over the top of that. It's the first time we've sort of put something like that together. It works. It's not necessarily pretty, but it works. So we've done that. We've been having some really cold mornings. I think it was -6 this morning. It was very cold. So we've been doing some firewood. I thought I'd show you that too. Let me turn you around. So this is what basically our whole 20 acres looks like. It's just bush, just all different types. And the discussion with the gum trees about trying to move the gardens away from the gum trees, it's not real feasible. There is gum trees everywhere. But anyway, so what we've been doing is downing all the dead trees that are in. We pick a spot. So this spot is the spot that we're working at the moment. We take down the dead trees. We leave them quite tall to start with because then the children can't trip over them. So we leave them at a height that they're really visible to begin with. Eventually we'll take them down to the ground. And then we down the trees and we cut them up and we take them in for firewood. So it's been quite cold lately, so we've been doing a lot of that, a lot of downing the trees and then figuring out. So you can see there's lots of dead trees around. So what we do is we just pick a spot, take down the dead ones, and then cut them all up for firewood. But yeah, the place is just, this is what the whole place looks like. It's just all bush. So all behind the chicken pens, this is what we have, and all the way back there is the highway. So I think that's all I needed to share, or had to share. Walk away from the sun there. Oh, turn back this way. So yeah, wanted to share the hamper, but also just wanted to give you a quick update because I haven't been doing much. I still have heaps of videos that the voiceovers are prepped for to go ahead, so we'll keep on churning them out. We're at week 3 of the 6, I think. So it's like 2.5 weeks before I head off for the next grocery trip. We're also getting ready at the moment. It is Surreal's 16th birthday this year. So she is going to Comic-Con with Darryl in Brisbane. So we've been doing a bunch of stuff prep for that. She wants to go in costume and we had to book a hotel and things like that. So we've been doing that kind of stuff as well. We just hit end of financial year, so I've been doing tax returns, and it's just been a really hectic. And with this cold, it's still hanging around. I'm like, I can breathe fine now, but I'm still a little bit congested and still a little uncomfortable, and I've been trying really hard to get the website going. So, and I'm rambling because I just can't think of anything else that I really need to update anyone on. So, but thank you for joining me again today, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the hamper, and I will talk to you on the next one. Thanks, guys.